This year for the 2025 exams, I'm going to be re-uploading every single one of my how to get a grade 9 in a specific subject videos, although this time in a much higher quality. This is how I got grade 9 in GCSE maths and the highest score in my year. My name is Henry Brand. If you're new here, please subscribe and please everyone leave a like. I got 10 9s in my GCSEs and my aim is to help you do the exact same and get 9s in every single subject you possibly can. So, how to get a 9 in maths is a 3-part method. Number 1, you need to be very good at understanding what you're bad at. You need to be very good at finding your weaknesses and finding your flaws. Number 2, you need to then be good at understanding those flaws and actually being able to understand content you don't know or are bad at. And finally, you need to actually revise that and you need to put that into practice and make sure you remember it in the exams. Because it's no use knowing something and knowing how to do it 8 months from the exam if in the actual exam you forget and don't actually remember how to do it. I'm going to get straight into this video now with point number 1. And point number 1 is to understand and find your weaknesses. This will come with time. As you do lots of maths questions, you're going to become aware of what you're bad at and what you're not so good at. But what I would recommend is looking at the Maths Genie website. They have lots and lots of topics and you can look through that and think, okay, do I know this? Do I not know this? What do I need to revise and what do I need to focus on? Another thing you can do is find online PDFs, which are like a checklist of things, of everything that you need to know for GCSE maths. Make sure you go through this and work out 10 of the things you're worst at in maths. Or you could rank them alternatively from 1 is you know it really well and 3 is you really don't know it. That's what I did. I went through every single topic and made sure I did that. This way you can specifically target what you're bad at in maths and be very efficient with your revision instead of spending loads of time revising stuff that you're just good at and already know. Point number 2 is now about being able to understand that content and improve on your weaknesses. Now, 3 things that I recommend to do this. Number 1 is ask your teacher. Don't be afraid to ask your teacher or email your teacher for any hard questions, anything you don't understand. Maybe they might have lunchtime clubs at your school, anything like that. Don't be afraid to ask your teacher. Number 2, tutor. If you have a tutor, then you can go through difficult questions with them. I offer maths tutoring. Email me if you want to get in touch with that online. And number 3, the one that I use the most is YouTube. There are some really good maths YouTube channels out there, and I'm going to link them in the description. The GCSE Maths Tutor is one of them. And I'd really recommend that. I watched loads of YouTube videos on concepts I didn't understand. Corbett Maths YouTube is another one as well. So if you can understand the content, that's really important. And watching YouTube videos I find really helps because they just walk you through the content. It's very important to know as well, in your understanding, you need to make sure in maths you have the basics checked, okay? So you need to be very, very good at the basics in maths. So if you're really stuck and you really don't understand something, maybe try and revisit the concepts underneath that, if that makes sense. So the basic concepts. So you may not be able to simplify algebraic fractions, and if that's a real problem, then it might be worth looking at both algebra, so separate and basic algebra, and then separate and basic fractions. My final point is to actually practice this and learn it and revise it and memorize it. One thing I did that I definitely recommend you do is practice papers. I did about, at the start, maybe 2 practice papers a month, and I upped this as I got closer and closer to the GCSEs. They're only an hour and a half to sit. They're not too long, but the most important thing is what you do after you complete the practice paper. Do the practice paper in timed conditions if you can. Maybe for your first couple, don't do it in timed conditions, but do your practice paper in timed conditions, then mark it and make a note of your mark and make a note of everything that went wrong, okay? You should go through your paper and then basically find out using the mark scheme or YouTube videos how to answer every question. It's no use just doing it and then all the ones you get right, you tick and think, well done. You have to ruthlessly focus on what you don't know, okay? That's more important than the marks you got, is the marks you didn't get. So focus on that when you do your practice questions. I would flashcard key concepts too. There's a lot of equations in maths that you need to learn. For example, things like the indices rules or the area of a triangle or trigonometry, and flashcarding them is the best way to remember this. I had about 20, 30, 40 maths flashcards for GCSE, so you don't need loads for maths, but there are a couple of key equations you need. So make sure you flashcard those and you're practicing them regularly. I'm going to be doing a video on flashcard techniques, so stay tuned and make sure you're subscribed to here and see when I upload that. Now, my next point, and this is probably the most important and the most underrated technique to get a 9 in GCSE maths, is this. Do maths daily. If you could do a small amount of maths daily, this is going to massively help you. And this is what I did to get a 9. This brings me on to the sponsor of today's video, which is Brilliant. Brilliant.org is a website used to learn maths and science. Their interactive maths courses have been proven to be 5 times more effective than passive learning, so learning maths just by listening, and I would really recommend them for this reason. Another reason why I think Brilliant is really effective, and I wish I used Brilliant and I had known about Brilliant when I was in year 11, is they focus a lot on daily maths, which is really important. If you do 5 minutes of maths daily, 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, this is so much more effective than just doing like 4 hours right at the end. Daily maths across such a long period of time will make you ridiculously good at GCSE maths. Brilliant is very good at this, and you can build on the foundations and work your way up into more difficult concepts. To try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days, go to brilliant.org/HenryBrand or click the link in the description. You also get 20% off a premium annual subscription. So make sure to do this. Go and get a month subscription for free and start building up your streak. Corbett Maths is the method that I used, and another method that I'd really recommend as well. So Corbett Maths does this 5-a-day sheets online. The link is also going to be in the description for that. And what I would do every single day is I would go through and just do one of the 5-a-day questions. I ordered the Corbett Maths books, and I found these really helpful, but you can just do it online and then write out your answers on a whiteboard or something like that. So this is so effective. They have different tiers, so depending on what grades you're aiming for, I would start, if you're aiming for a 9 and you're currently working at a 6, 7, I would start on the higher tier and then move up to higher plus. Just do this once a day, every single day, and then look at what you got wrong, most importantly. Work out what you got wrong, revise that and understand that, and then repeat that process. And I did this daily across 6 months in the build up to my exams. Sometimes I missed out a day or two. Obviously that will happen naturally. But what it meant is that I had been hit, by the time I went to my exams, I'd been hit with every sort of question from Corbett Maths 5-a-day. I just knew automatically how to do the questions in the exams. There were a couple right at the end that were obviously difficult, but most questions I just knew exactly how to do because of Corbett Maths Daily. Anyone that starts doing Corbett Maths Daily now, learns what went wrong, repeats that process every single day, I can almost guarantee will get a 9 in GCSE Maths. If you start in the higher tier and you're moving up into the higher plus tier. So one final thing as well that is really important for A-level, for GCSE Maths is this. On GCSE Maths Tutor YouTube, they do grade 9 videos. It's really important to test yourself with grade 9 questions if you're aiming for the grade 9, because you can't just be getting the grade 7 aimed questions right. You have to be pushing yourselves for those harder questions. So what I would do is I would search grade 9 maths questions on vectors, for example, if it was a weaker topic. When the question came up on the screen of a YouTube video, I would pause it, I would work it on a whiteboard or sheet of paper, and then I would play it again. And I'd skip to the end just to see if I got the question right. If I didn't get the question right, I'd watch all of the video and learn what went wrong. This is a really effective method that I did right at the end that I think really helped bump me up into the 9s. I hope that video was helpful. That's everything I did to get a 9 in GCSE Maths. It is one of the most easy subjects to revise. But I think if you follow these steps and repeat them again and again, so finding your flaws, understanding them, revising and practicing them, and just keep repeating that process from now until your GCSEs, you will get an extremely high grade in maths and the grade you want. Please leave any questions in the comments or email me or anything like that, and I will respond. I want my channel to be super interactive, so I take video requests, I do respond to all comments. And yeah, like I said, I hope that's helpful. Please leave a like.